ఆమె ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళి అది ఎంఆర్ఐ టెస్ట్ తీసేది బ్రెయిన్ అది చచ్చిపోతుంది.
హరే కృష్ణ.
అలాంటి మంచి గురించి
హరే కృష్ణ.
టెస్ట్ పోవాలి వాళ్ళు. అలాంటి
హరే కృష్ణ. నితాయి సేవిని మాతాజీ. Let me mute everybody. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Jai Mataji. Jai Hare Krishna.
So we'll begin soon. Thank you, Mataji. Please accept my respectful obeisances. It's our fortune to have you, our association, discourse on Ram Katha. Our grace Nitai Sevini Mataji is a senior disciple of His Holiness Jayapadaka Swami Maharaj. Took initiation in 1998 in Atlanta, USA. And she's a dynamic, creative, diversified preacher across so many areas. So regular different topics, youth programs, and all kinds of audience. She's trying to give as much as possible her all capacity in distributing Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So we are very fortunate. Thank you, Mataji. Please, you can begin. Your line seems to be muted, Mataji. Let me see. Not able to hear you, Mataji.
And now you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can begin, Mataji.
Viramam Ranarangdhiram Rajivanetram Raghuvamshanatham Karunyarupam Karunakaram Tvam Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai, Sita Mata ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai, His Holiness Jayapadaka Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees at Central New Jersey. Thank you for inviting me to your Sangha. So I hope you all had a great Ram Navami celebrations. Here at ISKCON Visakhapatnam, we had wonderful, wonderful celebrations of Sri Rama Navami. Usually here in South India, on the day of Rama Navami, we have Sita Rama Kalyanam. We have a marriage between Lord Sita and Lord Ram, and it's done very elaborately. This time we had more elaborately here at ISKCON Vizag. We actually had horse-driven chariots and bringing Lord Ram inside the temple, and then the elaborate marriage ceremony with lots of devotees attending. And we did every ritual that is done in a marriage with couples sitting on either side as Janaka and Dasharatha. And then we had a grand marriage feast, distributing all that items which are distributed in a traditional marriage. So it was a wonderful, wonderful program, followed by Panchamrita, Abhishekam of the Lord, and Ram Katha, and it was a wonderful program. And I hope you must have also had a great program there at Central New Jersey. So today I have been asked to speak on Ramayana. So we will be talking from Ramayana, but we will be talking today not Ramayana, we will be talking Ramayana. That is, see, Ramayana means journey of Lord Ram, or travels of Lord Ram, or story of Lord Ram. But today what we are going to do is we are going to see it from a different perspective. The Sri Sampradaya prominent acharyas have given very good interpretation. They say Ramayana is a story of Mother Sita, because another name of Mother Sita is Rama. So they say this is Ramayana, and this whole pastime of Ramayana is actually centered around Mother Sita. So they give wonderful, for us anyway, devotees, whether you say Ramayana or Ramayana, it's all the same, whether we glorify Mother Sita or we glorify Lord Ram. So they, very interesting way they presented. And in fact, there's one very prominent acharya in the Sri Sampradaya. His name is Vedanta Deshika. Just like we have our Jiva Goswami, they have their Vedanta Deshika. And he says that the alternate names for Ramayana could be the story of Mother Sita, or he said it could be, the glories of Mother Sita, or it could be the killing of Ravana, because that's the whole Ramayana centered around. So, in fact, these acharyas, they say every kanda of Ramayana has something to do with Mother Sita, and it's moving around Mother Sita. For example, they say Balakanda means it's about marriage of Sita. And they say Ayodhya Kanda means it's about the story of how Sita Devi accompanied Lord Ram to exile. If you say Aranya Kanda means it's about how Sita got abducted. If it is Krishkanda Kanda, it's about how they are trying to locate Sita, or a search for Sita has begun. And then they say the Sundara Kanda is meeting of Sita ji and Hanuman and the conversation between them. And then they say the Yuddha Kanda is about the reunion of Mother Sita with Lord Ram, and the Uttara Kanda, the extra Kanda, is about Mother Sita going back home, or just the departure of Mother Sita. So the whole thing they present it, centered around Mother Sita, and I find it very beautiful. So that's what we are going to do today. We are going to speak about Ramayana. So we'll speak about Mother Sita, her appearance and disappearance, and the whole pastime, right from her appearance to her disappearance, from her perspective, how things happened. So the pastime begins like this. There is this very pious king called Shira Dwaja Janaka. So before we start that, we actually need to know this word Janaka, because many of them are, usually we assume, that's how, from childhood we are hearing, in the quiz question, who is the father of Sita? Janak Maharaj. But actually Janak is the title. His name is Shira Dwaja Janaka. So how did they get this Janaka, and why is everybody in that dynasty called Janaka has a pastime behind it? So it so happens that there was this one king called Nimi. He was the son of King Ishwaku. And King Ishwaku was a very pious king. He had this glorious son called Nimi. Nimi wanted to have a fire sacrifice for the welfare of the citizens. So he called his Kul Guru Vashishta Muni, that why not you officiate this fire sacrifice, and I want to do something for the welfare of the citizens. So he said, very well, but I have another engagement. I need to go to the heavens, because Indra has also sent me an invite to do some fire sacrifice there. So once I complete, I'll come back. Now the years are passing by and Vashishta hasn't come back yet, because there's an elaborate yajna going up there. And then Maharaj Nimi thought that it's getting delayed. So he approached another sage and he got his fire sacrifice done. And that also went on for many years. I think somewhere I was reading maybe 5,000 years or something like that. And the fire sacrifice went very well. And then when the sacrifice was over, he was distributing the cows and distributing the wealth to the Brahmanas. And they were just ending the fire sacrifice. And at that time, Vashishta comes back. When he comes back, he gets very upset. He said, did you do the fire sacrifice without me? Couldn't you have that patience? I told you I'm coming back and I would have do it. And why did you get another person to do this fire sacrifice? So I curse you, just die. And Maharaj Nimi said, it's unfair. You are our official, the Kul Guru for our dynasty. And instead of giving importance to us, you went up there and did Indra's fire sacrifice. Probably you got a lot more wealth from Indra. Probably you got greedy for that wealth and you just left our fire sacrifice and you went there. So I curse you, you die. So now both the Guru and disciple, they counter curse, and both of them are powerful and, very virtuous. And so, but at that fit of anger, because they counter curse, both died. Now the Guru is lying there and the king is lying there, and the Brahmana is wondering what to do now. Both are dead, but they need to now, what should they do? They have to go ahead. The kingdom doesn't have a king and they need a Kul Guru. So they immediately started reciting mantras to, bring them back to life. And immediately Maharaj Nimi, who was already out of his body, he speaks out. He said, I don't want the body again. I'm done for. Whatever the body was supposed to done, I'm done for. I don't want to come back inside my body. I better stay like this. So then the Brahmanas asked, fine, ask for some boon. We already officiated mantras. We have started doing, what can we do for you? And he said, okay. In fact, he wanted to go back, but they said, since you are destined to stay for these many years in this body and you are prematurely leaving it, so anyway, you'll have to stay here. So then Maharaj Nimi says that I prefer to stay on the eyelids. This eye is where we see the Supreme Lord. I prefer to stay on the eyelids, everybody's eyelids. So that's how Maharaj Nimi got a place to sit there. And that's why he's called, that's why this is called Nimisha, because Maharaj Nimi stays on the eyelids. That's why every part of our body, every limb has something to do with some devata or some demigod, something. And if we don't use them for Krishna's service, they actually curse us. So that means when we don't use his eyes in seeing Krishna's Divya Mangala, the auspicious form of Krishna, Maharaj Nimi is getting upset with us that, what are you doing? I'm up there on your eyelid, and just use it for, seeing, open them and see Lord Krishna's beautiful forms. So then Maharaj Nimi stayed on the eyelids. And then Vashishta Muni, because he was already cursed, so they just put his soul inside a pot. And then of course there's another story which I don't want to go today into, and how Mitra and Varuna and Urvashi comes there, and how Vashishta gets reborn from the pot along with Agastya and Sudarshana. They were the first test tube babies, they were born like test tube babies inside from the pot, from the semen of Mitra, Varuna. So this is what happens. And now because there is no king, and Maharaj Nimi said he doesn't want to come back inside the body, the Brahmanas had no choice, but they churned the body of Maharaj Nimi. The dead corpse of Maharaj Nimi was churned. And when his body was churned, came out a baby. Now, because the body was churned, in Sanskrit it's called miti, it was churned. So the boy born came to be known as Miti Janak. Miti Janak. Janak means one who is father for himself, because he has no father, no mother. He's born from his father's body, right? He's born from the dead corpse. So he's called Janak because he's born from the father. He's sharing the same physical body with the father and born by churning. So he was called Miti Janak. And from there on, anybody in that dynasty had that name Janak. So Shiradwaja Janak was Mother Sita's father. And then that place which was ruled by him, because it was ruled by Miti Janak, the place came to be known as Mithila, the place ruled by Miti Janak. So that's why you see that name Mithila, you see that name Janak. And there was also given another name called Vaideha. Vaideha is actually one who has no bodily conception of life, or maybe you can say one who is not attached to body, or one who does not have body. So because Maharaj Nimi's descendants, who was not attached to body, it's a great thing. See, actually in the Vedic culture, as soon as somebody dies, the first thing is that they burn the body immediately. They don't want to keep the body for a long time, because as long as the body is there, the soul is so attached, it doesn't want to leave the body and go. It's just hovering around and trying all the ways to get back inside the body. So actually the soul is so attached to the body, it doesn't want to leave the body. But in case of Maharaj Nimi, he doesn't want the body. He's not attached to the body. So that's very special. Somebody who's not attached to bodies. That's why it's called Vaideha. He was without body, or not attached to body, or not attracted to body. And then that's why you see Lord Ram also very lovingly calls Mother Sita Vaidehi, one who is in that glorious dynasty, who are not distracted or to the bodily concept of life, or who are not attached to body. So now what happens, coming back to our main story, Kshiradwaja Janak, the father of Mother Sita, he was a pious king. He wanted to once perform a fire sacrifice for the welfare of his citizens. Now to perform a fire sacrifice, they need some particular kind of herbs, they need kusha grass, so they need to do a certain kind of a cultivation. So Maharaj Janak, he himself was tilling the land with a plow to grow some, grow some plants or grass which was required for the fire sacrifice. And while he was doing that, every time the plow gets stuck, they stop there and they give lots of charity, and then they again start plowing, and then wherever it stops, they again start giving charity. And when they give charity, the plow starts moving. That's how the whole ceremony takes place. But this time it wasn't moving. The plow was not moving. They were giving charity, but it was not moving, and they were wondering what is obstructing it. So then they started digging, and then they got this golden box, and wherein they found Mother Sita looking so beautiful as a lotus flower. And because she was found at the tip of the plow, Maharaj Janak called her Sita, which in Sanskrit means the tip of the plow. So she came to be called as Sita, and Maharaj Janak was very happy since he didn't have children, and he raised Mother Sita very lovingly. So that is how Mother Sita came into Maharaj Janak's life. Now everything was going wonderfully well. So once it so happens that Mother Sita is playing with some flower ball. So while she was playing with this flower ball, they had this big Shiva Dhanush in their Antarbhavan, in their palace. Now this Shiva Dhanush was a very huge Dhanush, and Dhanush is bow. So this Shiv Dhanush was a very huge bow, and it was actually belonged to Lord Shiva, and he had used it while fighting a war, and he had given it as a gift to the Devatas, and the Devatas had given it as a gift to Devavrata. And Devavrata's dynasty was this, Maharaj Nimi's dynasty. So that's how this bow came to Maharaj Janak's house. So it was very heavy. It was very huge. It was kept in a box, and then it had those wheels, and every time it had to be moved, there were some 5,000 foot soldiers and a few elephants. They were tied with the rope, and that's how the whole thing was pulled. It was that heavy. But to the surprise of Maharaj Janak, what he sees one day is when Mother Sita was playing with a flower ball, and the flower ball got stuck, below this bow, Shiva Dhanush, and she very effortlessly with her left hand picks it up and takes out the flower ball, and then puts the bow back. And when Maharaj Janak realizes that Sita has such immense strength, and she's so powerful, he decides at that time that I will get my daughter married to somebody who is having equal strength. Otherwise, imagine the day of the marriage, the Mother Sita hugs her husband, and he'll be in two pieces because she's got immense strength. So they decided that we'll get her married to somebody who's having that equal strength like her. Now, this is what is happening here in Mother Sita's life. And there in Ayodhya, something else is going on. Here, Prince Ram is grown up into a teenage boy. He's maybe like 14, 15-year-old boy now. Here, Mother Sita is maybe 7-year-old. And here, Vishwamitra Muni comes. Vishwamitra Muni comes, and can you put that clock so that I can see? Otherwise, I'll go on and on without understanding the time. Okay, thank you. So, Mother Sita that's with Mother Sita. And then here Lord Ram is growing up into a, young, energetic teenage boy. And then he's finished his education. He's come back from Gurukul. And Vishwamitra Muni comes and asks Maharaj Dashrath, then I want to take your son with me because there are certain demons who are causing disturbance in our very important fire sacrifice. And then there's this whole pastime where Dashrath Maharaj is reluctant. He doesn't want to send Lord Ram because he thinks Lord Ram is very young. But then Vashishta, intervenes, and then he convinces that, Vishwamitra is a very angry sage and he'll get really upset if you shouldn't offend him, and you better send Ram. And I'm sure, and trust me, he will take care of Lord Ram nicely. So then Lord Ram and Lakshman, two little boys, they go with Vishwamitra. And then Vishwamitra, they kill Tadaka, they kill Subahu, they throw Marich, with one arrow some 800 kilometers away. And then they make sure that the fire sacrifice goes nicely and safely. And then they go and also deliver Ahalya, who was cursed by her husband, and she was in the form of a Shila or stone. And then by the touch of the dust of Lord Ram's lotus feet, she regains her form back. So everything is going on wonderfully, and Vishwamitra is so happy. He is with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is really enjoying having conversations with him, talking to him. He's like a tour guide, showing him different places, telling him different stories, teaching him different mantras, some mantras, some different arrows he's giving to Lord Ram, which will be useful for him in his future wars. Everything's going so wonderfully. And now imagine, as it is the Supreme Personality of God, it is so attractive. And then now he's in a form of a young child, like a teenage boy. It's all the more attractive. In fact, he's doing such wonderful service to Vishwamitra. He gets up early in the morning, does his whatever the oblations and whatever the rituals need to be done, early in the morning. And then in the night also, before he goes to rest, he massages Vishwamitra's feet, and does all that a disciple needs to do for Guru. And Vishwamitra is so happy. So whenever I talk about this pastime, I'm just reminded of this Suprabhatam, because the first verse in Suprabhatam talks about this. Because Vishwamitra is so attracted to Lord Ram that he wants Lord Ram in his vision all the time. But when the night comes, Lord has to sleep, and he's not in Vishwamitra's vision anymore. And Vishwamitra is unable to sleep in the night. He's so uneasy, and he's just waiting, when will the sun rise so that I can again see the beautiful lotus-like face of Lord Ram. So early in the morning, before the sun rises in the Brahma Muhurta, Vishwamitra takes it like an excuse, and he goes, to the hut where Lord Ram is lying down, and he wakes him up, and he says, hey, awake, come on, get up, my dear son Ram, or rather, oh virtuous son of Kaushalya, get up, just see, the sun is about to rise. Don't you want to get up and finish up your morning rituals? So this verse, it goes like this. It says, Kaushalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narasadula Kartavyam Deivamanikam. Very beautiful verse. It begins like this, which Vishwamitra is chanting. Oh, Kaushalya Supraja Rama, get up. Oh, son of Kaushalya, you have to do your morning rituals. But actually the Antara Bhava, or the inside Bhava, is he's not able to, be there without looking at Lord Ram's lotus feet. And he's just like, in hurrying up, come on, get up so that I can see you again, and let us begin our journey further. So this is what is happening. Everything's going wonderful. Now somebody comes and informs Vishwamitra that there is a very huge fire sacrifice, a Dhanusha Yagam, going to happen in Janak, that is in Mithila. So why not you also come? And Lord and Maharaj Janak has sent invite to all these sages. So you do please come and watch the fire sacrifice happen and come and give your blessings. So Vishwamitra says, very well then. So he decides to take Ram and Lakshman with him to Janakpuri. Now this Janakpuri is a very beautiful place. I've been there a couple of years ago. Wonderful, wonderful place. It's in Nepal, and there is a huge palace of Mother Sita, and there's a very beautiful temple. And then there is this Vivaha Mandapa, where the marriage of Sitaram, Lakshman, and Urmila, and Bharat, and Mandavi, and Shatrughna, and Shrutakirti, all the four of them got married. That place is still there, you can see, and it is so special place with such wonderful vibration. It's like Vrindavan, it's like Ayodhya. Everybody's just chanting Sitaram, Sitaram, and there are lots of Babajis, lots of sages, and holy men just moving around, and people are very soft-hearted, nice-natured, cultured. Very beautiful place to have darshan, and very beautiful deities of Sitaram. So then he decides, and now he just like the boys nowadays, the latest is you talk to them about video games and they get pretty excited. Oh, this is the latest video game, this is what is happening. So those days the latest is about the bows and arrows. So when Vishwamitra is talking about this huge bow and how it was given by Lord Shiva to the Devatas, and how Devavrata got it, and how huge it is, and how so many elephants are required to move it, and Rama and Lakshman get so excited. Oh, Guruji, we want to see that. He said, yes, I'm taking you. You're coming with me. We will go there. And then after that, I'll drop you back home to Ayodhya. That's the plan. So they are very excited and they all decide to go. So they're walking and they reached this place called Janakpur. Now, in those days, every king at the borders of their, whatever their rule, their kingdom, they have places especially for sadhus, for sages to come and take rest. And they have very beautiful place. There are mango groves. There are nice arrangements for water. There are some maid servants given there who take care of the sadhus, because the sadhus are simply traveling from one kingdom to another. What does a Vaishnav do? Vaishnav wants to just, tirthi kurvanti tirthani. A Vaishnav actually he himself is a holy place personified, but he keeps traveling to different kingdoms and then meet the kings there and then give them some spiritual knowledge, stay there for some time and then move on to another kingdom and then move on to another kingdom. So while they travel, these facilities were made by the kings for their convenience. So now as Vishwamitra, he reached the border of Janakpur. Very nice arrangements are made, and there is this very nice place called Amarakuti, a beautiful ashram surrounded by mango groves, and the sevak, the servants of Maharaj Janak, they welcome Vishwamitra and they ask him to take rest in this place. So Vishwamitra, he comes and then he just settles himself, and by that time Janak Maharaj arrives with Satananda, their guru, their local guru. So they all come and then they welcome Vishwamitra, and then Janak Maharaj is pouring water and rose water and doing abhishekam, the pada abhishekam, the lotus feet of Vishwamitra. He's just offering service and asking, okay, how are you, what can I do for you? All this is going on. So while this is going on, Maharaj Janak's eye falls on Lord Ram, who is standing behind Vishwamitra Muni. And he gets amazed of such a beautiful looking young boy. And usually what happens, the parents of girls, and especially the girls who have attained a certain age, whomever they look at any boy, for them, he's a prospective groom, they'll start scrutinizing him with that eyes. Oh, he's looking good, he's earning good, his salary is good, his nature is good, maybe he'll be a good match for my daughter. So he's started, similarly Janak is seeing that, oh, he's wonderful, good looking boy, very mannered boy. So he's just thinking, but who is this boy who is accompanying Vishwamitra? And now Vishwamitra, he doesn't tell name of Lord Ram. When he sees that Maharaj Janak is very much attracted to Ram, he starts explaining, oh, these two boys, they are prince who helped me to finish my fire sacrifice. Oh, they both are very courageous. And you know what this elder boy did? That's how he's introducing. Oh, he just killed Tadaka and then he did this. And then he went to the ashram of Gautam Muni, and there he delivered, Ahalya. So he's telling all this. And this Satananda, he's a son of Ahalya. So when he hears that his mother got delivered, he immediately understands, oh, then this must be Lord Ram, because he knows his mother was destined to be delivered by Lord Ram. So he immediately understands, oh, this is Lord Ram. And then finally he says, well, they are the sons of Maharaj Dashrath of Ayodhya. So now they become very happy. Oh, okay, so this is what is their lineage. This is what the dynasty they belong to. And then finally what happens, Ram it's a young boy and they've come to a new place, and Guruji had told them about this big bow, Dhanush, Shiva Dhanush. They're all excited. So they're asking Guruji, when are we going to see that Shiva Dhanush? And Vishwamitra is like, yes, I'm going to take you. And then Lord Ram and Lakshman asked that, if you don't mind, Guruji, can we just go around and see the city and see the town of Mithila? Yeah, definitely you can go. So just like Krishna and Balaram, they together went to Mathura and moved around. Now Ram and Lakshman, they just move around the whole town of Janakpur. They're just walking around and they're just looking, what is this place like? What are these buildings? What is going on? What temples they have? So as they're walking on the streets of Janakpur, the Janakpur Vasis, they're all looking, the residents of Janakpur, they're looking at Ram and Lakshman, and they're just wondering, who are these two beautiful boys? Oh, they look so wonderful. So the ladies, they're just peeping out of the windows and they're just looking at Ram and Lakshman. And then somebody's saying, hey, look at the gate. Look at the way this boy is walking. Doesn't he look, doesn't he reflect the power of a lion, the way he's walking? And some other lady says, I don't think so. I think he has a rage of a tiger. Just see the way he walks. And somebody says, no, just see, he's just walking with the pride of a bull, the way he's walking, such pride on his face. And somebody says, oh no, he's just walking like a snake, like the little energy, how the snakes do. Doesn't he walk like this? Everybody's talking something. And then somebody says, hey, look at his eyes. They're so beautiful. And somebody says, what eyes? Forget about it. I'm simply looking at the eyebrows and they're very beautiful. And I can't take out my eyes from his eyebrows. So I think it will take some time by the time I go down to the eyes. And somebody says, but I'm still at the shoulders. Somebody help me. I just can't move my eyes from his shoulder. He's so beautiful looking. And everybody's just looking at Lord Ram. And it's like as if their eyes have become like cups, drinking nectar and looking at the beautiful face of Lord Ram. And all these young girls, they're thinking so many things in their mind. Somebody's thinking that, oh, he is the right person for our Sita. And if I have done any pious karma in my life, I'm just ready to give everything, Lord, but make sure that this boy gets married to our Sita. And then somebody else, praying something, and then somebody else, and everybody is just looking at him and praying. And while all these young girls are laughing and giggling and talking something, the old women in the house, they're saying, hey, what are you all doing? What is that? What are you looking at? Come on, move, make place. We want to see. And then the old ladies start peeping and their eyes get stuck, And they said, oh, how beautiful. And there's some other old lady, the third generations, the other ladies in the house, and they're saying, what are you looking? Allow me to look. But they can't move. They're very old. They're just walking with the sticks and, they can't. So they say, Amma, the grandmother, stay there. I'll tell you how these boys are looking. See, I'll explain to you. There are these two beautiful boys and these boys are looking so beautiful, so beautiful. They're looking as beautiful as they are. So the old lady says, what is this? He said, but we don't know what word to use. We can't compare this boy to lotus. We can't compare to moon. We can't, because he's as beautiful as he is. We can't compare him to anybody else. We can compare him to only himself. That beautiful this boy is. So everybody, and at that moment, what happens? There are many of the old ladies and the young ladies who, when they look at Lord Ram, instantaneously they have that Vatsalya Bhava. Oh, I wish I had a son like this. Or some had Madhurya Bhava. Oh, I wish I could be his wife. Oh, I love him so much. So everybody had different bhavas and Lord fulfilled everybody's desire. That's why you see in the Garga Samhita, there is a special section about the gopis, how, the rishis in the Dandakaranya forest who were looking at Lord Ram with Madhurya Bhava got a chance to become gopis in Dwapar Yuga when Lord came as, in the form of Lord Krishna. And then even the Ayodhya Vasis who were looking at, Lord with that Madhurya Bhava, they also got a chance to become gopis. And the Janakpuri Vasis, those who wanted to have Lord as their husband, even they got a chance to become gopis. And even the people from Kaushal, where Kaushalya's birthplace. So because Lord Ram, definitely goes to his uncle's house, Kaushalya's house, maybe during some vacation. So people from that place also got attracted to Lord Ram in Madhurya Bhava, and even they got chance to become gopis. So like that, because we wonder so many gopis, but all of them have previously desired for Krishna as their husband, as their lover, and everything got fulfilled in Dwapar Yuga. Because they had desired previously in Treta Yuga, and then it gets fulfilled in Dwapar Yuga when Lord comes as Krishna, in the form of Krishna. So this is what is happening, and everybody is very happy in seeing Lord Ram and Lakshman. And now they walk, and they finally reach a nice, beautiful garden. So Lord Ram says to Lakshman, okay, let me pick some nice flowers, and Guruji will be so happy if we take this nice flowers back to the ashram, and Guru Maharaj can use it for his puja. So they said, wonderful. So they both went and they started plucking flowers. Meanwhile, what happens? Mother Sita comes there with her friends, and she's doing some Gauri puja. So she's also making some garland, and then her eyes fall on Ram, and Lord Ram's eyes fall on her, and they both look at each other. And then Mother Sita immediately puts her head down, and she goes inside the temple, and then she's looking at Mother Durga and praying that I don't know, I have never ever looked at a stranger, I have never ever looked at a man or a boy in my life. This is the first time I'm seeing somebody, and at that instant I have a different kind of feeling for him. I don't know why, but I'm just praying to you, Mother, can you make him my husband? That's what she starts praying, that I'm attracted to him. Now this is what is happening, and meanwhile Lord Ram and Lakshman, they just hang around in the garden for some time, and then they go back to Vishwamitra. Now Vishwamitra is wondering what took them so long. They just said they're going to see the city and come back, and they took so much time. So when they come back, Vishwamitra asks him, hey, what took you so long? So Lord Ram, very innocently, he says, Guru, that delayed us. So Lakshman is just, hitting on his forehead. How can you be so, straightforward? You can't tell everything to Guruji. Certain thing has to be said diplomatically. And Lord Ram is like, what is wrong? I'm just telling him the truth. We saw a beautiful girl in the garden, and that's why we were delayed. So Vishwamitra is laughing. Okay, fine, that's all right. Now forget it there. Now we need to go and see the Dhanush, see the bow which we have come to see. Let's go and participate in the Dhanusha Yagam. So then Lord Ram and Lakshman and Vishwamitra, they walk up to the palace, and then this whole thing is going on. The Dhanusha Yagam is going on. At the end of it, Maharaj Dashrath is expressing that how he's been waiting for some, brave or some valorous, Yodha to come and break this bow, or at least lift this bow, and that he has put this precondition for his daughter's marriage, and is really worried if his daughter is going to remain a brahmacharini whole her life, because he's not come across anybody so powerful so as to move that. So while this all conversations are going on, now some versions of Ramayana say that there was Sita's Swayamvar. I mean, there was an actually a ceremony where this bow was put in the middle of the assembly, and there were kings from different countries gathered, assembled there, and they all tried. But in some other versions, I've heard that it was an ongoing process. Every time people were coming, trying and going away, and it went on for a few years. Now we'll take the other version for today's class. So now this bow and is lying there in the middle of the assembly, and everybody's trying, but nobody's able to lift it. And then finally Vishwamitra Muni, he looks at Ram that you can go and see the Dhanush, you can go and lift it. So this is what happens. And finally, so even before he says something, actually the Valmiki Ramayana says that Vishwamitra did not ask him to break it. He said, Vatsaram. Vishwamitra says, Vatsaram, go and see. You wanted to see the bow, right? You can go and see the bow. So as he's just seeing the bow, and meanwhile, Janak Maharaj is like, oh, so many people tried. Nobody could lift this oh, maybe my daughter is going to remain unmarried. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. I think this earth is no more, brave warriors remained, everybody. So he's just, saying so many things. And meanwhile, Lord Ram is just looking very enthusiastically at the bow. And then finally, Vishwamitra Muni, he just, moves his eyebrows in a way that Ram understands that, yes, he has the permission to pick it up. Now, this is very special because just like a obedient wife, a chaste wife doesn't need to be asked what needs to be done. She understands, what her husband wants. Similarly, a good disciple, understand what the guru wants even before the guru says something. He understands the movement of the eye, what the guru wants. So Lord Ram was very expert and he understood what Vishwamitra is asking him to do. So Lord Ram, he just makes a pradakshina. He just circumambulates the bow. And then he pays obeisances to the bow. And then he pays obeisances to Maharaj Janak. And then he pays obeisances to his Guru Maharaj. And then he pays obeisances to all the other sages in the assembly. And then he pays obeisances to all the other kings who were assembled in that assembly. And then he pays obeisances to all the queens or who were sitting there up in the gallery. And then he pays obeisances to sky. And then he pays obeisances to Mother Earth, and then he pays obeisances to all the Digpalakas, and then he pays obeisances to all of the Devatas, and then he pays obeisances to Sun God, and then he remembers mentally his father and he pays obeisances, and all these things is going on, paying obeisances to so many people even before touching the bow. And meanwhile, Mother Sita, who is just looking at him from the gallery, is wondering, why is he taking so much time? I'm already, my blood pressure is high, and I'm already getting worried whether he's going to break it or he's going to break it or he's not going to break it. And she's already worried, and Lord Ram is taking so much time. And then Mother Sita is praying and praying and praying, and she's praying to Mother Durga that, oh, maybe if I've done anything good, in my life, please take all those karmas, please make this bow very light so that he can pick it up. So while all these things are going on, finally Lord Ram pays obeisances to the bow, and then finally he just touches it. And then finally, now he's about to, actually the bow is like this in a sleeping position, and he's about to now pick it up, and he's supposed to keep it vertical. But then in some explanations by acharyas, they say that while he was, he just put his hand on the bow, the mark which connects both seas. When he puts it there, he hears the anklet bells of Mother Sita. So he just puts his eyes up and he sees Mother Sita is looking at him. And then he's also looking at her, and he gets distracted. So at that moment, what he does is that instead of putting it vertically, he just lifts it horizontally up there. And he thinks that if I make it vertical, then I lose her sight because I'm looking at her and she's looking at me. And then finally, he just picks it up breathwise, and then he ties a rope to it. Now, the bow has to be, the rope has to be tightened. So while he's tightening it, he tighten it a little harder, and the bow breaks. The bow breaks into two pieces. And when the bow breaks, it's not a small thing, it's a huge bow. So there's a lot of noise. There's like a lightning, and the whole earth is trembling, and all the waters, in the oceans, they've all come out, and they come up to the banks, and all the Digapalakas have moved, and all the grahas, they've gone into wrong houses. Brahaspati has gone into Shani has gone off in Brahaspati. Everything is moving. Everybody, they thought, what has happened? All the demigods are showering flowers, and everything is shaking. Now to control earth, only Ananta Shesh can do it. That is Lakshman. So he just gets down from his chair, and then with his thumb, he just stops the movement of the earth, and then everything becomes peaceful and it cools down. And everybody's so happy. And Maharaj, and except for Maharaj Janak and Vishwamitra and Ram and Lakshman and certain sages, rest everybody who was there in that assembly fainted, because they could not tolerate that, the weight, it broke into pieces. It was huge sound. They all fainted. It took some time for everybody to revive, and some fainted out of happiness, some fainted out of sadness, because they wanted to marry Mother Sita. Because I mean, this has been going on for years now. In fact, there were many who were criticizing Janak Maharaj that, why don't you give up that condition? Because anyway, nobody's able to fulfill it, and your daughter will remain unmarried. Just forget about it. Just, we want to get married to her. So it was, such a big news now what happens. So finally, everything is done, and Maharaj Janak becomes very happy, and he says, "Okay, so now I want my daughter to come down and put the Jayamala, put the flower garland around Ram, and accept him as her husband." Then Lord Ram says, "No, I'm not getting married." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, I was just asked to see if I'm able to lift this bow or not. And by mistake, I broke it. But I can't get married without my father's permission. So I didn't tell him that I'm coming from home to get married or something. My guru asked me to pick it up, and I just pick it up, and by mistake, it broke." And when they hear that, half of them are like, "What is this? We thought this is a happy moment." So they asked him to explain, "What's your problem?" He said, "No, this is very simple. I need to take permission of my father." So immediately, Vishwamitra, he intervenes and he tells Janak Maharaj, "Okay, fine. There is nothing to get disappointed." He's not saying that he will not get married. He's saying, "I need permission of my father. So go ahead and send message to Maharaj Dashrath." So Janak says, "All right, fine." And they immediately send a messenger that please go and inform Maharaj Dashrath, invite him, take his permission. So the messengers have gone to invite Dashrath Maharaj. And meanwhile, everybody else who are in the ladies' apartment, they're up in the gallery, they're all very disappointed. "Oh, what is this? Why is he doing this?" And the only person who is not disappointed is Mother Sita. And they're wondering, how come she's supposed to be in anxiety, but she's all smiles. They said, "How come you're not affected?" And Mother Sita says, "I'm very happy. He's the right person I should get married to." And they're saying, "What does this mean?" And she says that, there are three qualities a woman looks for in a man. One is that he should be able to protect her. He should be brave. He should be, powerful. And Lord Ram is powerful. The way he lifted the bow, I'm sure he can protect me for the rest of my life. So I'm very happy. He's courageous, he's brave, and he can protect me. He's powerful. And the second thing that a woman looks in a man is that he should be prudent. He should know what to speak, when to speak, how much to speak. He should be able to express himself. Usually, the gender problem is the ladies are more talkative and they are more expressive, and whatever it is, they can express themselves very well. But the men usually are not so expressive. They think a lot, but they may not speak a lot. But here she sees this quality in Lord Ram, that he speaks, and he speaks well, and he knows what to speak at the right time, when to speak. And he spoke so prudently, so perfectly, that I need to take permission of my father. And the third quality she says that a woman looks in a man is that he should be self-controlled. So she says, what is self-control Lord Ram has? It's not that he gets super excited and he says, "Forget about my father's permission. I'm sure he's going to be happy that I'm getting such a beautiful wife to get married to." But he's so self-controlled, controlling his emotion, controlling his senses, and he's not getting distracted. So that's very special, because Sita was such a beauty that all the, in all the three, the universe, everybody was talking about her in all the three worlds, whether it was the upper planetary systems or whether it was lower planets, everybody was talking about her beauty. And there were thousands and lakhs of people who were like dying to get married to her. And here she is ready to put the garland around Lord Ram, but he restrains himself and says, "No, I'm not doing it just now. I need permission." That is something so special. So he said, all these three qualities are present in him, and I'm so happy that he's going to be my husband. So that's all right. I can always wait, and when the permission arrives, we'll get married. So finally, the messenger goes to Dashrath Maharaj, and then when the messenger is explaining to Dashrath Maharaj that your son has killed Tadaka and has killed Subahu, and then has delivered Ahalya, and then he has done this, and then he has done this, and when he's explaining all this, Maharaj Dashrath's heart is swelling with pride. He's so happy. "Oh, really? My son did this. Oh, my son did this." And every time he's saying something, he's removing one, Navratna Mala. He's removing one pearl necklace. He's removing one diamond necklace, and he's showering it on the messengers. And then finally the messenger says, "Now we want to tell you something which he did amazing." And what he has done is he has broken the Shiva Dhanush, and he has won the hand, the Veera Shulka. He has won the hand of Sita. And then Janak becomes very happy, but he immediately turns to Vasishtha Muni and he asks them, the dynasty of Maharaj Janak, do they follow Vedic culture? And Vashishta Muni says, yes, they're wonderful. Then I'm very happy. He was not interested in how beautiful Sita was, or how glorious or how opulent their kingdom was. What he really wanted to know is, do they follow Vedic culture? And he was very happy to know that, yes, they follow Vedic culture. So they become very happy. And then Dashrath Maharaj is like, all right, we are coming. So he gets ready with all his soldiers, and the citizens of Ayodhya, they also want to come for the marriage. So there's a grand procession. There are bullock carts, and there are horse carts, and there are elephants all decked up, with jewelry, and everybody's looking so beautiful in the best of their dresses, with lots of flowers and lots of sweets and lots of savories and lots of other decorative items and ornaments and lots of different gifts and clothes and silk clothes and so many things. They're taking in, cart loads, and everybody's just walking, and there is a huge procession. And not only the Ayodhya Vasis are there, even the people from different other kingdoms, and then the Devatas are there, and everybody is there in the procession. And the procession is so long, right from Ayodhya to Janakpuri. The procession is so long that by the time the first person in the procession had put his leg inside Janakpuri, the last person in the procession is still in Ayodhya. I mean, that huge is the procession, that the first person has already put his leg, but the last person is still walking from Ayodhya. I mean, that huge procession is there right from Ayodhya to Mithila, and everybody's just, dancing and singing, and, our Ram is going to get married, and our Ram is getting married. So they're so happy, and they're all going like this. And the Devatas, they come and offer, that we want now the procession from Ayodhya is reaching Janakpuri, and now Janak Maharaj comes to welcome Dashrath. And now, see, they even made palaces very quickly within a few days just to welcome Maharaj Dashrath. On the way, there were so many facilities created. Now, it's believable because, you see, even now, where we don't have this mantra shakti, you see, recently during the COVID times, China made a hospital in 10 days, just like that. In 10 days, they could make a hospital. So those days, they had so much mantra shakti and so much manpower, and they had so much opulence. So definitely, they maybe have created so many palaces and so many nice facilities on the way. And then finally, Dashrath Maharaj meets Lord Ram, and then Lord Ram is also now on the horse. And now just on which horse will Lord Ram sit, and how will he go? That is a big argument now, because all the Devatas, Agni says, I want to give my chariot, and Indra says, but I want to give Airavat, he should sit on him. And then the other Devatas, but I want to give him. So everybody is talking, and then Vishwamitra says, stop it. I will decide what will Ram do. So he said, I think Kama Devata, the Cupid, he should be the horse for Lord Rama, because Rama on Kama, and that will look nice because Rama is very beautiful and Kama is also beautiful. So Kama and then Rama should sit on that. So then finally Lord Rama is sitting on Kama Devata, and Kama Devata is carrying Lord Ram as a horse, and then that's how they are just moving the whole procession, going towards Mother Sita. And now in this procession, there is Lord Shiva, and then there is Brahma, and everybody is there. So Lord Shiva is just walking, but Kama Devata is just very mockingly looking at Lord Shiva, and making fun of him, because they have this, fighting, and Lord Shiva is angry on Kama, and he had burnt him. So now Kama is like, you can't do anything to me now because I'm under Lord Ram. And then Lord Shiva is also, making signs to him and saying, that's all right, but the moment you leave Lord Ram's association, I'm going to attack you. So Kama says, well, I'm not so stupid to leave Lord Ram. I'll always stay under Lord Ram. So this all is, going on. Then Acharyas give a beautiful commentary saying that anybody who is under Lord Ram's supervision cannot be distracted by Kama. The main problem that we are facing in this material world is our desires, our Kama, which is taking us away from Rama. But we should be in association of Rama, then Kama cannot disturb, because Kama is under Lord Rama's subjugation. In fact, just hearing Lord Ram's name, just seeing Lord Ram's beautiful form, just hearing Lord Ram's Katha, taking Lord Ram's Prasad, everything connected to Ram purifies us from Kam. In fact, even Ravana got purified. I'll tell you one very beautiful story that I had heard. When Ravan approaches Kumbhakaran, that, why not you help me? I'm in this middle of this war, and I've kidnapped, abducted this Sita, Ram's wife, and so please help me through this war. And Kumbhakaran says, my dear brother, I thought you were intelligent. Why are you acting stupid? you just want to enjoy that lady. Why do you have to do such big drama for this? You have a power to disguise in whatever form you like. Why not you just disguise yourself as Lord Ram, and then you go and enjoy her, and there ends the matter. Why all this war and all these things? So Ravan tells Kumbhakaran, oh, you think I'm stupid? You think I didn't get this idea before? I got this idea long before. And I did it also. I disguised myself as Lord Ram. But even before I could approach her, the moment I disguised myself as Lord Ram, I even got the qualities of Lord Ram. And everybody whom I was seeing, I was looking at them as mother. So even when Mandodari came in front of me, I was looking at her as mother. I could not lust for anybody. Any woman that I see, I got a motherly feeling just by taking the disguise of Lord Ram. So that's very dangerous. In disguise of Lord Ram, you can't enjoy with any woman. You look at everybody as mother. So that is why I just gave up that idea. So that powerful is Lord Ram's association, Lord Ram's name, Lord Ram's remembrance. So finally, the procession reaches, and then there are lots of rituals happening. And then from this side, Vashishta Muni is talking about their lineage. Oh, our dynasty is like this, like this, like this, And then from here, Satananda is talking, but well, our dynasty is also like this. And these are the important kings who were born in our dynasty. So now they're just matching each other. Okay, your dynasty is glorious, even our dynasty is glorious. And then coming, from those kings down to Dashrath and Janak, they glorify. And then now they come down to Sita and Ram. So now they're glorifying, oh, our dear Sita is so beautiful. She has so good qualities. She's so respectful to the elder. She's so compassionate to the younger one. She's so sweet to her friends. This is what our Sita's quality. And she's so delicate that even if a freshly grown leaf of a mango tree falls on her skin, the skin will become reddish. That soft is her skin. That how is her beauty. And then they say, oh, is it? Now listen what we tell about our Ram. Our Ram, he is like this, like this. So both the parties, they're going on talking. And then finally they say, your Sita requires 1,000 eyes just to see the beauty of our Lord Ram. And they say your Ram requires 1,000 eyes every minute added to the existing eyes, because our Sita's beauty grows every minute. So like that, the conversations are going on, and they're so happy and ecstatic. And finally, all of them get married, all the four princes. And Sita gets married to Lord Rama, and Lakshman gets married to Urmila, and Bharatji gets married to Mandavi, and Shatrughna gets married to Shrutikirti. And that is how they all get married. Now, the whole marriage, it needs another one class explaining all the different rituals that happen and what all happens. And so many things happen inside the marriage, and every single ritual, how important it is. In fact, there is this one funny incident happens, in the marriage, the groom, bride and the bridegroom and the bride, they need to exchange flower garlands. And when Mother Sita is trying to put the flower garland around Lord Ram's neck, Lord Ram is little, high, he's taller than Mother Sita, and Mother Sita is a little shorter, and she's unable to reach, Lord Ram. And now she's just, waiting to put the garland. And now usually the Kshatriya prince, usually the Kshatriya prince, they don't bend down, they just stand, erect. And now they're not able to understand what to do. And so Mother Sita is just waiting with the garland. Now she can't look at Lord Ram. She has her veil. So she's just looking at the lotus feet of Lord Ram, and she's happy. She's just enjoying, because even seeing the lotus feet of Lord Ram is such a privilege. And then she has lots of bangles in her hand, and the bangles have glass, and inside the glass she can see the reflection of Lord Ram. So she's just holding the garland and looking at reflection of Lord Ram, and she's very happy looking at his beautiful face and looking at his lotus feet. And now Lord Ram is waiting, and he's asking Sita, mentally, why are you delaying so much? Come on, now just raise your toes and come on, put the garland on me. And Sita is saying that you're not able to wait, but what about me? I waited when you were paying obeisances to your guru, and then my father, and then all the assembled sages, and then you were doing circumambulation of the bow, and then you were paying obeisances to the sky and paying obeisances to the earth. And I was waiting, when are you going to break the bow? So now you better wait, I'll take time, I'll see when I can put the garland. So all these things are going on, and Lord Ram is saying, I'm not going to bend. And Sita is saying, but I'm unable to reach you. Now as they're talking mentally, Lakshman was just getting married, in the other mandapa, and all these 4 marriages are happening. And Lakshman is so attached to Lord Ram. He's getting married, but his eyes are on Lord Ram, and he's wondering what is happening now. If they don't put the garland around each other, how are we supposed to do it? They're all waiting for them to put, because they're the elder ones. He's just waiting, and Lord Ram is not doing it. So what Lakshman does, he's very smart. He just runs, from his mandapa, comes and falls on Lord Ram's feet. And Lord Ram is wondering what happened to Lakshman. Oh, Lakshman, come on, get up. You are my only shelter. And Lord Ram bends down to pick up Lakshman. And the moment he bends down, Sita Mata puts the garland around Lord Ram's neck. And everybody's very happy. But Ram is in anxiety and he's asking Lakshman, what happened? Are you okay? Are you fine? And Lakshman says, oh, friend, I'm okay. I think just gas and acidity problem in my stomach. Looks like that's all right. I finished my marriage. And then he just goes back to his mandap. And then, this whole marriage happens. And the acharyas give such nice commentary about this. They say that because it's a duty of the spiritual master, to see that the devotee and the Lord get connected. The devotee gets connected to his Lord. In this case, Mother Sita is like the, playing a role of a devotee. And then here is Lord Ram, and Lakshman is the spiritual master who just comes and connects, both of them. So this is what it happens. And finally, they all get married. Now, all of the 4 princes are married. They go back to Ayodhya. Everything's going wonderfully well. But then we know what happens. Then comes Mantra and the whole part of Kai, and then Rama getting banished for 14 years of exile, and then how their Surpankha attacks them, and then how Rama kills 14,000 demons, in the Dandakaranya forest, and then finally Sita Mata gets abducted by Ravana, and then Lord Rama, with the help of the monkey king Sugriva, builds this bridge, crosses the ocean, reaches Lanka, defeats Ravan, finally gets Mother Sita back. And then, of course, the Agni Pariksha gets test Mother Sita because she was there for maybe like 11 months, 14 days. So, when she's brought in the palanquin back to Lord Ram says, stop the palanquin there, ask her to walk from there, because all these monkeys have worked so hard just to, relieve her or, get her back from Ravan. So they are all curious to see her. So she should walk from the palanquin. So she gets down and she walks, and all the monkeys are falling on top of each other just to have a glimpse of her. And while she walks and comes up to Lord Ram says, stop there. Now, as a husband, I did my duty and I relieved you from Ravan, and my duty is done, but I can't accept you back anymore because you were with Ravan. So I need to, I'm unable to accept you back. So now you can choose somebody else as your husband and you can continue. And now when Mother Sita hears that, she's crying and she tells Lakshman that, can you make a fire for me here? I'll just enter into fire because I cannot live without Ram. And Lakshman is wondering what to do. And Ram says, yes, you can make the fire. So he makes fire for Mother Sita with his arrow, and then Mother Sita enters inside the fire. And when she enters inside the fire, she comes out because Agni vouches for her chastity and says, oh, Lord Ram, here is your Sita, and she's pure. And because Mother Sita, while she's entering the fire, she's giving a testimony. She said, if I haven't even mentally for a fraction of a second thought about any man except my husband, then fire should take me, inside. And if I have done this, if I have done that, she's giving testimony. And then fire Devata himself comes and says, no, she's pure and chaste, and Lord Ram, please accept her. And then Lord Ram accepts her, and then they get on the Pushpak Viman, and they finally reach Ayodhya. Now, if I don't say this part of the story, then, this Rama Ayan will not be complete. So we'll go another 15-20 minutes and then I'll close it, with her disappearance. So then they're all living happily. Now, there's Pattabhishekam. Lord Ram got coronated as the king. Bharat was very happy. Finally, he also came back. Lord Ram met him at Nandigram. They all came back to Ayodhya. Everything is wonderful now. And they're, Mother Sita is the queen of Ayodhya, Lord Ram is the king of Ayodhya, and everything is wonderful. Now, what happened is that Lord Ram had this system, in the night, goes for rounds in disguise to check if everybody's happy, all his citizens are happy. So one day it so happens that he hears a washerman taunting his wife that why are you late? You're coming this late evening. You said that you will come yesterday from your mother's house and you come after one whole day. So what do you think? Do you think I'm like Lord Ram to accept, like Lord Ram accepted his wife, even though she was with that Ravana for 1 year? I'm not like Lord Ram to accept you. Why did you come late? I'll not accept you. So when Lord Ram hears that, he's shocked. Oh, this is what they're talking about. Oh, this is what they say about Sita. It's very embarrassing. They are pointing out on Lord Ram's character, or his, that how could he accept his wife back even though she stayed for 1 year with somebody else. So now Lord Ram, he decides to send Sita away. So he asked Lakshman that you take her and put her in the ashram of Valmiki Muni. So Lakshman, at that point of time, Lakshman thinks that next avatara, I'm definitely not coming as his younger brother, because he's making me do things which are so hard to my heart. I can't put Mother Sita there in the forest, but he has to do it because he's a younger brother. So finally he takes Mother Sita on the chariot, and Mother Sita is wondering, where are we going? And he says, no, well, actually, oh, I understand, because I was telling Lord Ram that, when we were in exile, we used to have the association of these sadhus, and, I'm just missing their associations. Oh, is it that is why Lord Ram has asked you to take me to the forest and meet those sages? Is it? She's not able to understand. And finally, when she gets down, Lakshman breaks the news that, well, Lord Ram has, asked you to stay here in the forest. So then she's hurt, but then she accepts it. And then finally she's put in Valmiki Muni's ashram under Valmiki Muni's care. And there she gives birth to Love Kush. And then, finally, Love Kush grow into sweet young boys, and they learn the Ramayana from Valmiki Muni. And then finally one day they recite this Ram Katha in the city of Ayodhya, and all the citizens of Ayodhya are so happy to hear, and they take them to Lord Ram's palace and say, look, these two young boys, they're reciting Ramayana such wonderfully. So then they also hear the mothers, the three mothers, Kaushalya and Sumitra and Kaikeyi, they also hear, and everybody hears and everybody cries hearing it. And then they wonder, who are these two boys? And then finally some other events take place where Love Kush, tie the horse, which was, to be going for the fire sacrifice. And then finally Hanuman comes, and then finally there is a fight between Lord Ram and Love Kush, and then Mother Sita intervenes and informs that these are your children. And finally Mother Sita, Lord Ram asks her to come back now. But Mother Sita says, well, now I'm done with it. And if, in the front of the whole assembly in Ayodhya, she requests Mother Earth that if I have been chaste to my husband, please open up for me and accept me back. So the Mother Earth opens up, and then when the throne comes out with Bhumi Devi, and then she takes Mother Sita's hand, because she had come from Bhumi, Mother Sita, and she goes back to Mother Earth. So, and then she goes down with the chariot, and the Mother Earth closes. And that's how Mother Sita ends her pastimes. Now, if I end it here at this note, certain questions will be in the mind that everything is so nice and beautiful in Ramayana, which we can relate to. But this thing where Lord Ram banishes Sita just because of somebody's comment, which was not even backed up by any evidence, it hurts us, because the things that is like this, sometimes in the scriptures, there are certain things which are built up on our existing beliefs, certain things which we accept, and on that certain more things are added, which we very easily accept. But certain things in scriptures jolt us completely, just like in the construction. Sometimes, in the existing construction, certain floors are added. It's okay. But sometimes to do construction, they have to break the old building and start the whole new construction again. Similarly, the scriptures are also like that. Sometimes they build up on our existing beliefs. We know something, we accept something, and on that some more things are added, which we can accept easily. But sometimes they just break our existing beliefs or whatever our, in the mind, and then we become like perplexed. Why did Lord Ram do that? Everything was ideal in his life. He was an ideal son, an ideal husband, an ideal king, and an ideal brother. But he was not an ideal husband. Why did he do this? Why did he banish his wife who was pregnant, carrying baby, and then, left all alone for no fault of hers? It was not her fault that she got kidnapped. So I just want to clarify it for another 10-15 minutes before I close this session. Otherwise, that thing remains in the mind. Why did he do that? So, everything that we hear in the scripture cannot be simply seen, with your eyes. It has to be seen with the eyes of intelligence, or we have to see it in a bigger way, because there are so many reasons behind everything that happens. It's not as simple as A is equal to B. A is equal to B, but there are so many things. There is A plus C plus D plus E is equal to B. So there are so many other factors. So the fact that it was not that Lord Rama was a villain and Sita was a victim, and then Lord Rama banished her and did injustice to her. Actually, they both sacrificed. They both were victims. They both were suffering. Why they both were suffering? What's the proof? It's not that, after banishing Mother Sita, Lord Ram got remarried and he was happily living his life, because he was a king and he had all rights to get remarried, but he never got married. And it's not that after banishing Mother Sita in the forest, he was enjoying life. He was living like an ascetic. He was he was sleeping on the ground. He was taking simple food. He was just living as Mother Sita must be living in the forest. So this is a sacrifice he made just because he was a king and he had to set up certain high standards. Otherwise, at that movement in the society, in their kingdom, if he wouldn't have taken this decision, it was a wrong precedent for people. So he had to do this. So he made a sacrifice, and frankly, in the core of his heart, he never forgot Mother Sita. He never replaced Mother Sita, and he never doubted her. He considered her to be very pure. And what is the proof of that? When later on he had to perform a fire sacrifice, then the sadhus told Lord Ram that if you have to do the fire sacrifice, you need to have your wife sitting next to you. You can't do it alone. So better get married to complete this fire sacrifice. And then he said, no, I'll make a golden statue of Sita, and then she will sit next to me, and that's how you perform it. That means if he considered Mother Sita to be impure, he would not have made her golden statue and made sit next to him and perform this very pious fire sacrifice. That means he considers Mother Sita to be very pure. At the same time, he never got married also. So that means he definitely believed in the heart of his heart that it's not Mother Sita's fault, but the situation is like that. Just for the sake of the citizens, he had to send Mother Sita away. And the other thing is that, people use the word like banished and all, but the fact is that she was not banished inside the forest somewhere far. She was inside the boundary of Ayodhya, living in the ashram of Valmiki Muni. And Lord Rama was aware that she is in the ashram of Valmiki Muni because it's inside the boundaries of Ayodhya. So though not directly, but indirectly, he was there to protect her, because in case if any demons attack or anybody attack, because it comes under the boundary of Ayodhya, as a king, he would have always stand for her or protect her. And the other part is there were some other reasons also. See, there are two things here. Whenever somebody has to make a moral decision, or let's say, it is very easy, because when you come for moral decisions, when you have a moral dilemma in your life, it is easy to sort out, because when there is a moral dilemma, one thing is right and one thing is wrong. So you can easily decide, this is wrong, this is right, I should go with it. But if you have an ethical dilemma in life, it's very difficult to sort out, because in ethical dilemma, this is also right and this is also right. And now you have to take a decision. You have to pick up one right. And that becomes a big problem, right? So this was what was happening with Lord Ram. He has, as a king, he has certain duty. And as a husband also, he has a certain duty. So if he keeps her and doesn't, leave her, then he's not doing a proper duty of the king, because when the rumor has spread and when people are talking, he has to do something about it. Sometimes, even though the rumor is not true, if there is no action taken, it just spreads in such a way, and that will disturb the whole social condition in the kingdom. So he had to, it's like sometimes the false things spread so fast, even before the truth is wearing coat to come out. The truth is still getting ready to come out. By that time, the false propaganda, already spread. So he had to take this action. So he sacrificed his duties of a husband for the greater duties of a ruler. So of course people now in Kali Yuga take it in a very negative way, that why did he do that to his wife? But actually one's supposed to take it in a positive way, that he sacrificed his personal comfort, his personal relationships, his personal family life for the better of the nation. Actually, ideal leader means responsibility, and responsibility means sacrifice, and sacrifice means crying. So in a nation where the leader is crying, everybody will be happy. In the nation where the leader is thinking about his own self and he is happy, the nation will be crying. We can see that in the present day leaders. Present day leaders, they will not sacrifice their comfort. They will not do anything. They will, for them, their family will be first and nation later. But in those days, there was a high standard for them: nation first, then family. They wouldn't care what happens to their family, but for them, the nation is so important. So instead, in spite of appreciating the people who were criticizing Lord Ram, that but he was such a big king that he sacrificed his personal relationship just for the sake of the nation. So see, sometimes it's like this. Let's say, like you see, the story of Satyavrata Muni. I don't know. He was once sitting under a tree. Now Satyavrata Muni had a vow that he will not speak lie. So now it so happened that a hunter were hunting a bear. So now the bear, he just was hiding, and the hunters came and asked Satyavrata Muni that, did you see a bear going from this side? Now imagine, he's in such ethical dilemma. If he speaks lie, then he has spoken lie. He should not speak lie. He has a vow. He has to speak the truth and tell them. And if he speaks truth and tells them that yes, the bear has gone this side, then he is killing somebody. He's being part of it. Somebody is going to lose life just because he didn't, he spoke the truth. Sometimes you have that kind of dilemmas, what to do both ways, it's so, but something, you have to take some decision, and no matter what decision you take, people will criticize you. So if Lord Ram would have not sent Sita away, and even though, I don't care what people say, I don't care what you think about my wife, but I just going to be with my wife, then they would have keep on, criticizing Ram that way also, that he never bothered what his citizens thought. He was just concerned about he and his family. And if he banished Sita, then they are criticizing in the other way. So leadership means there'll always be criticism, but the leader has to see things in the bigger frame and see what will be bigger benefit for people, and has to make this sacrifice. And the other reason is that there's everything is multi-dimensional. There's so many things connected to it actually. There is this pastime of Bhrigu Muni. Actually, there was this one demon who was troubling the devatas a lot. For thousands of years he had been troubling, and nobody was able to kill him. So finally Vishnu was trying to kill him, and this demon was giving a chase. So he was running, and Vishnu was running behind with an arrow, and he was trying to kill. And finally this demon gets inside Bhrigu Muni's ashram, and Bhrigu Muni is not there in the ashram, and Bhrigu Muni's wife Khyati is there. Now she doesn't know who is this demon. He just comes and says, "Mother, please protect me." And now these wives of this sages, they're very simple hearted, and she says, "I'll protect you, don't worry. Who is trying to kill you? Come on, you sit behind me. I'll face the person." And then Vishnu comes inside and says, "Move, mother, please move. I need to kill him. He's big disturbance, and he's the devatas are suffering. I need to kill him." So Khyati, Bhrigu Muni's wife, says, "I can't. I promised him that I will safeguard him, so I'm not going to move." Now Vishnuji says that I have to kill him. I've been waiting for this moment for years now. So Khyati says the only way you can kill him is by killing me. If you kill me, then you can, go to him. And then finally Vishnu had to do it. So when Bhrigu Muni comes back, And he sees this, he gets very angry, and then he curses Vishnu that, oh, the way you caused this separation between me and my wife, you'll also be separated from your wife. So the Lord does not have to accept the curse, but sometimes he just does it just to please his devotee. So Bhrigu Muni's curse, Lord took it and said, all right, I will experience this separation from my wife. So that's how they got separated. I mean, sometimes briefly, and then finally for a long time, because when Ravana kidnapped, for brief time he had to be away from her, and then again after becoming a king of Ayodhya also, he had to be separated from Mother Sita. There was another reason also which was given by Madhvacharya in his commentary on Mahabharata Tattva Nirnaya. It's a very interesting book, Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya. In that Mahabharata, he talks about this incident, about one demon. He talks that this demon had done a lot of austerity. And at the end of it, as a phala, as a fruit of his austerity, he said, because they cannot give them demons amaratvam, just like Hiranyakashipu asked, I cannot be killed, in the morning, I cannot be killed in the evening, outside the house, inside the house. Like that, this demon also, he put a condition. He said, I cannot be killed till the time Lakshmi Narayana are together. If Lakshmi Narayan gets separated, only then I can kill. So then this whole pastime was done where, Lord Ram banishes Mother Sita and they're separated. And when they are separated, then Indra chases this demon. Now that Lakshmi Narayana is separated, now he'll be killed. So this war goes on for maybe like thousands of years. And then finally, he just kills it while they are separated, And then finally, when the demon is killed, then Lord Ram asks Mother Sita to come back. But now Mother Sita says that, it's time to close the pastimes here. And she says, okay. Now, see, there's another level also of looking at it. In our cases, when we are separated from Lord, our love does not grow. We get into Maya. But for pure devotees, when they are separated from the Lord, they actually enjoy that rasa also, Vipralamba Bhava, where they're enjoying that separation from the Lord, and their love for the Lord is increasing many folds by the separation. Like the gopis, when they were separated from Lord Krishna, their love was increasing many folds. And similarly, when Mother Sita was separated from Lord Ram, her remembrance of Lord Ram is increasing many folds. It's on the zenith, it's on the peak, the way her fondness for Lord Ram is, and it's a general rule. Separation increases more, remembrance and fondness. But it doesn't happen in our cases because our cases, see, in their cases, separation acts like a wind. When there is wind, the fire grows, more higher. But our case, there is no fire. Our fire is like the light of the candle. So the wind comes and our candle will blow off. Whatever little bit bhakti also is there will go off. If we don't attend the temple programs, if we don't associate with devotees, if we don't take, separation does not increase our love. It just makes us fall in Maya. But for the pure devotees, it's on a different level. So this is one thing also that, Mother Sita was, in that Vipralamba Bhava and, all the more remembering Lord Ram. So of course, these are so many different other reasons. And also the whole Mahabharata, the whole Ramayana is on the theme of selflessness. We see how Dasarath, just to keep the word and just to keep the name of his dynasty, very selflessly he sacrifices by sending Lord Ram to forest. He could have said, forget about what the people will talk about me in history. I don't care, Kaikai, to give you that promises. I'm not going to send my son. He didn't do that. So, and that was great sacrifice for him because he was going to be separated from the love of his life, of his little boy, of his, dear son. So he acted selflessly. And then we see Lakshman acted selflessly by giving up his wife and family life to serve Lord Ram, and then Sita acts selflessly by giving up all the comforts at the palace and following her husband, and then Lord Ram acts selflessly by sacrificing his throne for Bharat and just going in the forest, and then Bharat acts selflessly by taking the footwear of Lord Ram and keeping them in the Simhasan and as king and ruling as a servant of Lord Ram. And then Shatrughna acts selflessly by serving Bharata. And then if you see the whole Ramayana, everybody is acting selflessly. And then this final pastime where both Lord Ram and Sita act selflessly by sacrificing each other's association. Because one way Mother Sita is wife of Lord Ram, and yeah, she's hurt that she will be missing his association. But Mother Sita is also looking at it as a queen of Ayodhya, and as a queen of Ayodhya, she understands why Lord Ram has to take that decision, and she's okay about it. And how do we know that she's okay about it? What's the proof? Now I'll tell you. If you see this modern day separation cases and divorce cases where their parents have to do single parenting, both husband and wife have separated, the child is either living with the mother or living with the father, and you will see when they are separated, the mother is poisoning the child so much about the father, then when the child grows up, he like hates his father. My father never did anything for me, my mother did. And the child who's with the father may be hating mother, or my mother, she just left us and my father took care of me. But you see, in the case of Love and Kush, they didn't have any hatred for Lord Ram. Mother Sita had, trained them so nicely that they had such respect for their father. So it was not that Sita was resenting and, getting angry on Lord Ram and telling Laukush, this is what your father did to me. I mean, your father needed to do it, such a responsible position he has. Everybody is looking at him. The whole nation is looking at him and he has to take certain decisions. So she was able to understand what is Ram going through. So both were suffering silently and both were selfless just for the benefit of the citizens of Ayodhya. She sacrificed as a queen of Ayodhya and he sacrificed as a king of Ayodhya, and both were on a highest platform for the welfare of the citizens. So like that, we see what is this reason behind, Lord Ram doing this, and sending Mother Sita to the forest. Also, in our lives also, when we can't understand certain things, we should keep them in the big frame and try to understand them in a big frame. Then we can have a clear picture. Like for example, in our lives also, sometimes we think, I'm so nice, I never did anything bad to anybody. Why did I get this kind of a reaction? Like we see Mother Sita's life, she never did anything wrong. An obedient wife, a chaste wife, a sweet mother, a perfect daughter-in-law. Why this happened? Because we should understand that things are not that simple. A is equal to B. It's not like that. A plus so many things comes to B. So it's not that simple. And Mother Sita accepted it so gracefully. And that's such a big lesson for us also. When apparently things happen in our life also in such a way where we see, oh, what is this happening to me? We should understand, yes, there may be, because we are living, multi-life dimension, multi-life dimension. We should understand, what is happening is not only this life. There is so many things, luggage we may be carrying from our previous life. And even if there is no luggage carried from previous life, Lord has his own plan, which we can't understand. Lord has his own calculations and own mathematics. So, we should just surrender and accept it. So that's it. Having said that, I'll close it because I think I already spoke over time. Thank you so much. And it was nice to share with you this Rama Ayan in very brief. Of course, I didn't do justice to the topic because there's so much to say about Mother Sita, but then time is never on our side. So thank you so much. I'll end it here. Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman ji ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The wonderful nectarian pastimes. So very elaborate details why Sita Mata has to do that. Lord Ramchandra had to do that. Very nice. A lot of lessons to be learned and followed. A lot of questions are there, but in the interest of time, so how you would like to do it? 4 or 5 questions at least are there. You want to take up 1 or 2 or?
What we can do is all that 4 or 5 questions, can I just hear them all and then give one answer for everybody's question, like a general answer?
Sure. The first one from Sabita Rani Mataji asking about, can a woman go to temple in the 5 days contamination? Please tell me Mataji, I'm aspiring disciple of Untitled Maharaj. I don't want to suffer my guru. Please clarify this. That is the first question. Second one was, why can't Mother Sita stay at Mithila, her father's kingdom? That was the second question from Gunta Srinidhi, I think. And then the third question is from Arun. What is the difference between Valmiki and Pusi Ramayana? The third question. The fourth one. When Ravana knows that he's not going to get married with another Sita in her Swayamvar, and Lord Rama is also going to come there, why still he came there? That is from Revati Method. So these are the four questions I see.
First question I could not hear. What was that?
It's more of a woman's 5-day contamination period, whether she can go to temple or not. I don't want to suffer my guru for that or something. That was the question.
Okay, a lot of diverse questions. Okay, so during the menstrual cycle, the women can go to the temple or not? Actually, during that time, there's a lot of heat generated in the body, and also physically the women need rest. So it's better not to go to the temple. And also you are not allowed to touch any auspicious articles. You're not supposed to do parikrama to Tulsi. And then when you go to the temple, definitely you associate with devotees, and then they're all, purely taken bath. And then if you touch them, then, then they also become impure, or rather then they cannot also do parikrama of Tulsi, and they also cannot do the deity service because they've touched you. So logically it's good to just take rest that 3-4 days, and that 4 or 5 days, and just be happy, because anyway you're physically strained. So better to take rest, and say good time. You can read scriptures happily. Nowadays it's all there on Gita base Android app. Just read in your phone or something, read scriptures and chant more and just relax. But at the same time, in certain household lives, there's nobody to help, so they'll have to cook, and also you can't help, then you have to do the cooking and you have to do it. I've heard diverse answers from different Prabhupada disciple Matajis, and some of them said that they can also cook and offer food to the home deities. But the Vedic culture does not allow that. So because we are a preaching mission, we may do so many things, but we don't put it in the altar. You can just cook and, offer it, from outside, whatever it is, but you don't go and put it in the altar. So you don't go near to the deities. So these are also different aparads. But you can definitely chant, you can preach, you can read scriptures. So that's what you can do. But better not to go to the temple. And if you have to go, then you can go, but you can stay far. You can just sit behind and make sure you don't mix with everybody, or you don't go and stand in front of the altar or something like that. You just maintain distance, or stand in the back somewhere without disturbing, and attend the classes or attend the bhajan, kirtan, aarti, whatever you want to do. Regarding other questions, why didn't Mother Sita go to her mother's house? See, once the daughter is married, then their family matter is their family matter. So it's not like nowadays for every little thing, what is that? Love at first sight and divorce at first fight, and anything happens, I'm just going to my mother's house, thank you, bye. It was not like that those days, that you just walk off to your mother's house. That's it. You do what your husband asks you to do. And she was, being an ideal example, that just like Lord Ram was an ideal example. When Dashrath Maharaj asked him to go for exile, he went for exile. He could have also go and take shelter of, Sita Mata's father and go and stay there in Janakpuri, but it is not like that. Whatever was asked to do, that's what they did. And Ram was an ideal follower. And when Ram was banished, he did that. When Sita was banished by Ram, then she did that, whatever was done. So that's how it is. So I think that was one question, and I don't know. That's all. Other questions I'm unable to remember. So that's how it is. Of course, so many points, so many things can be said, so many other different stories are there connected to Ramayana itself is like huge. There's so many intertwined stories, and then little stories, and then Mother Sita tells so many stories to Lord Ram. That is one day I can take a separate class on that. Very interesting, where how Mother Sita advises Lord Ram, and then she tells so many different stories and analogies explaining why she wants Ram to do this or Ram to do that, and there are lots of different nice conversations. So yeah, this is very, very interesting. Yes, that's it. Anything else?
There are more, yeah, there are more questions, but I think with the interest of time, I think we can conclude. We'll have another session. Thank you so much for the wonderful class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So we'll have quick announcements from Central New Jersey. So today evening we have Sunday feast program from 5 o'clock, 4:30, Tulsi Arati, Prabhupada Arati, and 5 to 6 is there's a second initiation by giving. His Holiness Rama Maharaj will join if you can, and then Sunday feast program continues with Gaura Arati and the Sunday feast class by Maharaj. Then May 3rd, and this coming Tuesday, 26th, is Ekadasi, Varudhini Ekadasi. All these next 3 Tuesdays are very prominent and auspicious. Yeah, that is April 26th Tuesday is Ekadasi, and May 3rd Tuesday is Akshaya Tritiya, very, very auspicious day. Any new beginning of, especially in devotional practice, is very nice to do, so that it can always, we will be able to do it always consistently. And then May 14th is Narsingha Chaturdasi, another most auspicious day of Lord Narsingha appearance day. So please join us. We'll have Yajna and celebration details, most likely in the evening, but we'll let you know the timing details. And also, before that Tuesday, I think that was May, the Sita Navami, appearance day of Sita Maharani, and appearance day of, I think, Jahnava Mata. Also, so that is in the next Tuesday, that is May 10th Tuesday, I believe, May 10th or 9th Tuesday. So these are the upcoming announcements, upcoming events. Yeah, May 10th Tuesday is Sita Devi's appearance day, Jahnava Mata's appearance day, Madhu Pandit's appearance day. So very prominent. And tomorrow is also Vrindavan Das Thakur's Tirobhav also. Very important day as well. Chaitanya Bhagavat, author of Vyasdeva of Gaur Leela. So Govindas is on from his Town of Central New Jersey. So if you'd like to place your order, please use govindasnj.com. Place your orders for Govindas. So those are the quick announcements. Anything else, Madhubhas Prabhu? Okay, now we'll conclude today's session. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Vaishnava ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.